It's on the line tonight in Collision 9. The CIF Southern Section All-Stars versus the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars. Hi everyone, I'm David Smock. Welcome to North Gymnasium on the campus of El Camino College. The series is tied up at 4 games apiece, and there's a lot of talent for both teams on offense. Of course, not too much defense in this contest. Never does happen in an exhibition game, but a lot of these players we'll be seeing next year at the college level. And again, it's the Southern Section All-Stars, the LA City Section All-Stars, and when we come back, we'll have the starting lineups and the opening tip-off. You're watching Collision 9 from Torrance, California.
When your child gets sick with the usual illnesses an unusual number of times, it could be an immune deficiency called PI. Get the warning signs.
Starting lineups for the Southern Section All-Stars, beginning at forward, number 32, Drew Vining from Villa Park High School, headed to Oregon. Also up front will be Austin Day, a forward from Woodbridge High School in Irvine, playing for Gonzaga. And in the backcourt, 3 guards, starting with Donnell Beverly Jr. from Lusinger High School in Lawndale, followed by Quentin Watkins of Dominguez High School in Compton, who's headed to Illinois. And rounding out the starting lineup for the Southern Section All-Stars is Cameron Brown. The LA City Section All-Stars, headed up by Coach Harvey Catani from Fairfax High School. They are 28-5 and won the state D1 championship. They will start at forward. Chase Stanback from Fairfax, the LA City Section Player of the Year, a 6'8 forward going to UCLA. Also being joined by Darnell Gant, a 6'9 forward from Crenshaw High School, headed to the University of Washington. And also in the front court will be Trey Smith, the 6'7 forward from Narbonne. Meanwhile, in the backcourt for the LA City Section All-Stars, Rod Singleton, a 5'9 guard from Fairfax High School, who will play at Cal State Northridge next season. And also in the backcourt, a 6'1.5 guard, Levon Myers from Los Angeles Jordan High School. Both teams on the court for the opening tip-off. The Southern Section All-Stars in the blue uniforms trimmed in red with white numerals. The LA City Section All-Stars in the white uniforms trimmed in red with blue numerals. Darnell Gant from Crenshaw High School, future University of Washington Huskies, jumping for the LA City Section All-Stars. And Austin Day, the future Gonzaga Bulldog, jumping for the Southern Section. The tip is controlled by the Southern Section. Quentin Watkins quickly gets it. Well, a little roster change there of a number 3 on the score on the roster. And evidently that's going to be Donnell Beverly Jr. from Lusinger High School in Lawndale. And he gives the Southern Section All-Stars a 2-0 lead. Fall-away shot by Gant doesn't go. And here comes Beverly, kind of deciding between UConn and Arizona State. Austin Day with the basketball. Day shoots from the corner and gets it. Austin Day, 6'10 forward. Woodbridge High School in Irvine. Like I said, he's going to move up to Spokane and play for Gonzaga. 4-0 Southern Section All-Stars, just first minute of the ball game. We're inside North Gymnasium on the campus of El Camino College in Torrance, California. Shot attempt by Singleton doesn't go. And the Southern Section coming back the other way. Day with the bucket. And Day quickly has 4 of the 6 points for the Southern Section as the South lead 6-0. Shot attempt by Levon Myers of LA Jordan was short. A battle for the rebound. And possession arrow will give the ball to the Southern Section All-Stars. Officials for this ball game, the referee is Donald Fleming, the umpires Greg Bluford and Victor Johnson. Quentin Watkins from Pasadena misses. Myers drives, comes off the rim. Follow-up attempt by Gant also comes off the rim. 17:55 to go. First half, yes, that's half, even though these are high school all-stars. They're playing college rules, including 20-minute halves instead of 8-minute quarters. Nice attempt on the follow-up by Drew Viney from Villa Park High School, who's going to go to the University of Oregon. At the free throw line will be Drew Viney. He has made his decision to be a Duck. He'll be going to Eugene, Oregon. First free throw of the game. He'll have one more as he misses the first one. And it's 7-0 in favor of the Southern Section All-Stars. Rod Singleton from Fairfax with the ball, headed to California State University Northridge to play at the Matadome. Feeds the ball into Gant. A loose ball, it goes out of bounds. So the LA City Section All-Stars will inbound the basketball, trailing by 7. Turnaround jump shot by Standback doesn't go. And Viney for 3, and it's a 10-0 run by the CIF Southern Section All-Stars to start the ball game with 17:07 to go until intermission. Ball stolen away by Cameron Brown of Mater Dei. He's going to Oregon. His layup attempt comes off the rim and the ball goes out of bounds. Singleton, ball to Day, feeds it to Watkins, back over to Brandon Richardson of Hawthorne. Richardson headed to Nebraska, the 6-foot guard, and now it's 12-0. The series from the previous 8 collisions, 4 wins for the LA City section, 4 wins for the Southern section. This is going to be the tiebreaker in this series, and so far it's been all Southern section. Quick pass down court to Beverly. Follow-up attempt by Drew Viney, and it's 14-0 in favor of the CIF Southern Section All-Stars with 16:12 to go. So almost 4 minutes into the ball game, and the Los Angeles City section unable to score as the ball's thrown out of bounds by Rod Singleton for the LA City All-Stars. Derek Strings from Lusinger inbounded the basketball. Strings, he'll be going to UC Irvine, but his fraternal twin sister, Desiree, she'll also be playing basketball at UC Irvine as well. Trey Smith fouled as he went up for the basket. 6'7" forward from Narbonne. Smith misses the first one. If he gets this one, he'll break the drought for LA City. And he misses both of them. But the ball's recovered. And the shot attempt after the rebound by Gant. Now the Southern section of the other way. Pulling up is Siobhan Harmon. Jesse Woodard now from the corner. Derek Strings. And the ball's rebounded by LA City as Chase Standback, the LA City Player of the Year. Oh my goodness, in and out. So the ball will be inbounded by Trevon Harmon, 6-foot guard from Pasadena High School, just to the right of our courtside location. 15:22 to play in the first half, 14-0 in favor of the CIF Southern Section All-Stars. And a loose ball on an errant pass attempt, and it's picked up by Omari Johnson, and Johnson gets the basket to break the drought at 15:07. Drew Viney. It's 17-2, 15-point lead, the biggest of the ball game. 14:49 to go, opening 20-minute period. DJ Gray now on top of the key, Omari Johnson, and the ball is rebounded by Jesse Woodard. At the other end, Drew Viney again with the basket. Viney with 11 points in the ball game, 11 of the 19, and a block shot by Austin Day. And the ball is rebounded by Harmon. And Harmon loses the ball near midcourt, but it's picked up by Day. 26 players in Collision 9, both the women's all-star game and the men's all-star game, going to D1 schools. And then you have a couple that are going to go to some of the smaller NCAA Division II or III schools, but a lot of high-powered offense by both teams, especially in this contest, as Michael Rojas from LA Poly, 6'4" forward, is going to go to Pierce College for 2 years and then make his way on to a 4-year roster. Of course, now with the rules as far as ages, a lot of these players, if they are deemed good enough by the NBA, could be 1, maybe 2 years and done as far as college is concerned if they want to declare themselves available for the NBA draft. At the free throw line, missing the first one, Jesse Woodard, a 6'1" guard from Centennial High School. He's going to go to Colorado State. 19-4 in favor of the Southern Section All-Stars. Make it 20-4. 16-point lead, biggest of the ball game, with 13:43 to play in the first half. 4-3 shot attempt by Jashawn Hampton, a 6-foot guard from Fairfax for the LA City All-Stars. Southern Section on top by 16, and with the basketball, Derek Strings comes into the front court after being guarded by Rojas. Corner to Brandon Richardson from Hawthorne. Back out to Strings. Strings pulls up. That one comes kind of in and out. Try to get the ball back to Richardson, and it's intercepted instead by Michael Rojas. Now it's intercepted again, this time by Woodard for the Southern Section. Gets it to Richardson. Richardson feeds it out to Shane Morgan. Morgan on the three-point shot attempt misses. His nickname is Long Range Shane. 20-4, still our score. 16-point lead for the Southern Section with 12:55 to go. Quickly down to Harmon. Harmon, little spin move, and the layup. Trevon Harmon, a 6-foot guard from Pasadena, makes it an 18-point lead for the Southern Section All-Stars with 12:43 to play at 22-4. Fall-away jumper by Omari Johnson takes 3 hops and falls in. It's 22-6 with 12.5 minutes to play. Really, despite all the action, just kind of the start of the ball game. And Brandon Richardson with the 3-point basket. And it's a 19-point lead at 25-6. 12:15 to go in the first half. Again, the shot attempt by Johnson doesn't go. Quickly down court to Harmon. Ball's fed out to Jesse Woodard. Woodard being guarded closely by Rojas. Woodard, air ball, misses everything. Picked up by Johnson. Now in the front court, Hampton from 8. It rattles in. 25-8, Southern Section All-Stars up by 17, 11:40 to go first half. And nice basket by Derek Strings from Lusinger High School, the 6'1" guard headed to UC Irvine down in South Orange County to play college basketball next season. DJ Gray. LA City Section moving the ball around a little bit. Now to Omari Johnson for 3, in and out. And the ball is rebounded by Trevon Harmon. Oh, a little alley-oop pass attempted by Woodard. That was intended for Richardson. Out the other end, Johnson feeds off the basketball over in the corner to DJ Gray. Gray from Long Beach Poly headed to San Diego State University to play for Coach Fisher. Steve Fisher, the head coach of the San Diego State University Aztecs. 10:54 to go first half. The Southern Section All-Stars 27, the City All-Stars 8, make it 11 after the three-point basket. 16-point lead. Derek Strings gets the ball. Kenny Miller from St. Anthony High School. And now the other way comes DJ Gray into the front court. Deshaun Hampton from Fairfax, two-point basket. It's 27-13, 14-point lead. That's what the Southern Section All-Stars had in the first almost 4 minutes and 53 seconds of the ball game as they started off on a 14-0 run to open up the contest. And the rebound by Deshaun Hampton quickly fed to DJ Gray, trying to do a bounce pass that's intercepted by Kenny Miller of St. Anthony. Give it to Strings, and Strings blocked from behind by Omari Johnson of the CIF Los Angeles City All-Stars. Almost midway through the first half, the CIF Southern Section All-Stars 27, the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars 13. And at the free throw line, Derek Strings, the 6'1 guard from Lusinger. I'm sure it's probably happened before somewhere along the line. We mentioned a moment ago how Strings is going to go to UC Irvine. His fraternal twin Desiree, she will also be playing basketball at UC Irvine. And that has to be a major rarity. Strings averaged 19.1 points per game for Lusinger to lead the team in average scoring, and also had 3.9 rebounds. That one rattles around and falls in. And is back to a 16-point margin, 29-13, exactly midway through the first half. Southern Section All-Stars 29-13, 16-point advantage. Their largest has been 19. Battle for the rebound. Chase Standback going for it. Standback, the CIF Los Angeles City Section Player of the Year, a 6'8 forward from Fairfax High School. And with his participation in Collision 9, as he's headed to UCLA, it's the fourth year in a row that a high school player committing to UCLA has played in one of these Collision All-Star games, gets the first free throw. If he gets the second one, that's already going to be 30 points on the board for the Southern Section All-Stars, and we're just 12 seconds into the second 10-minute half of the first half. 9:45 to go, 29-15. Kenny Miller gets the ball over to Strings from Lusinger and Lawndale. Over to Shane Morgan. Back over to Miller. The corner, Richardson. And that ball is rebounded by Isaiah Jenkins. And the basket at the other end by Darnell Gant. Isaiah Jenkins from Westchester High School, first player in about 28 years to commit to nearby Loyola Marymount University. They're excited to have him in the fold for next season. And the ball goes out of bounds. So the Southern Section All-Stars lead by a dozen with 9:09 until the intermission at 29-17. Number of substitutions, but all the players guaranteed that they have to play a minimum number of minutes, so everybody gets to participate. Nice little move there put on by Donnell Beverly. Now from the corner, David Shabosky, 6'7 forward from Long Beach Poly, makes it 31-17, Southern Section All-Stars. Deshaun Hampton with the basketball. Hampton from Fairfax, playing one last time for his high school coach, Harvey Katani. Follow-away jumper by Gant doesn't go. Well, no, they give it to him. 31-19, back to a 12-point game. At the other end, Shabosky's shot doesn't go, and the rebound by Hampton. Hampton gives it to Jenkins. Back out to Hampton. Lots of time on the shot clock, 25 seconds. For three, it's short by Jenkins. Loose ball on the rebound. That's picked up by Cameron Brown from Mater Dei High School, the future Oregon Duck. Another loose ball. Getting a little sloppier. Oh, behind the back pass by Derek Strings. little razzle-dazzle. And, of course, that's certainly perfectly acceptable in an exhibition all-star game. And there's a timeout on the floor, 8 minutes, 2 seconds remaining in the first half with the score. The CIF Southern Section All-Stars 31 and the CIF Los Angeles City All-Stars 19. The CIF LA City Section All-Stars back on the court, and play resumes as the Southern Section All-Stars bring the ball in the front court. Donnell Beverly Jr. from Lusinger High School in Lawndale gives it to Quentin Watkins. Watkins' shot comes off the rim, rebounded by Kenny Miller from St. Anthony's. Miller is going to go to Highlands. It's a college in New Mexico. Beverly will inbound the basketball. Gets it into Quentin Watkins from Dominguez High School in Compton. He's going to go to the University of Illinois. Miller. Miller's only 5'7". He's one of the shortest guys out there. And Watkins misses. Isaiah Jenkins brings the ball up court. Deshaun Hampton. Now over to E.J. Singleton. And E.J. Singleton, the 6'1" guard from Crenshaw High School, headed to the University of Utah in Salt Lake City. Now at the other end, Beverly tried a long shot. Rebound was kind of first touched by Woodard. Now picked up by Chbosky for the Southern Section All-Star and swatted away by Darnell Gand of Crenshaw. You know, when Lorenzo Romar, the University of Washington, sees that highlight, he's going to go, oh yeah. A freshman headed to Seattle. David Chbosky at the free throw line, 6'7" forward from Poly High School in Long Beach, one of the storied basketball programs in Southern California, also well known for their football program as well. Girls basketball team, they're not too shabby either. A lot of great athletes coming out of Long Beach Poly, the most ever of any high school in the country to go to the National Football League out of Long Beach Poly. And with 7:09 remaining in the first half, it's 32-21. The CIF Southern Section All-Stars leading the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars. Lead is 11. Exactly 7 minutes until the break. Stand back with the basket and draws the foul. The 6'8" forward from Fairfax. He'll be appearing on Ben Howland's roster at UCLA and Westwood next season. And with some players leaving, like Aaron Afalo, somebody like Standback is going to be a welcome addition, especially at his height at 6'8", as he misses the free throw attempt. It's 32-23. 9-point game. So after the Southern Section All-Stars roared out to an early 14-0 lead in almost the first 5 minutes of the game, the City Section trying to make a game of it. Shot is no good, is rebounded by Standback. And a shooting foul. The Southern Section All-Stars with 5 team fouls in the first half. The LA City Section All-Stars with 5 team fouls as well. At the free throw line, Deshaun Hampton, 6-foot guard from Fairfax High School. He was a member of that California State Division I championship team. Took home all the goodies, the plaque, the medals, everything, after beating McClymonds High School at Arco Arena in Sacramento. 6.5 minutes to go. Donnell Beverly put on a little bit of a move. Bounce pass to Viney. Day has it, and Austin Day puts it in, the 6'10" forward from Woodbridge High School in Irvine. Again, playing for Mark Few at Gonzaga University in the West Coast Conference next year. Standback Player of the Year. Nice little roundabout move on Viney. Ball goes out of bounds. Very fast-paced first half with 6 minutes to play till the intermission. Now from the corner, Austin Day. 37-24, 13-point lead for the Southern Section All-Stars. Quick down court pass to Quentin Watkins, and Watkins from Compton Dominguez / Illinois Illini. And it's 39-24, 15-point game, 5:35 to go. Pull up, shot attempt by Richardson, no good. Quickly back at the other end. Watkins has the ball rejected. And the layup by Darnell Gant. Again, 6'9", forward from Crenshaw High School, headed to the University of Washington. So a lot of these players next year, if you're watching college basketball on any one of the cable channels, you'll recognize some of these names. They'll be playing in the Pac-10, Big Ten, West Coast Conference. At the free throw line is Darnell Gant. 5 minutes, 20 seconds to play in the first half. The Southern Section All-Stars 39, the LA City All-Stars 27. Donnell Beverly Jr. from Lusinger High School in Lawndale with the basketball. Goes around Jenkins. And the follow-up by Drew Viney of Villa Park. Again, one of those Pac-10 players going to Oregon. Nice campus there at Eugene. Reminiscent with the trees changing colors, almost like you feel like you're on a campus in New England. And of course, their facility at the University of Oregon, commonly known as the Pit. Rebound by Austin Day, the future Gonzaga Bulldog. They'll probably have a chance to play Oregon during the pre-conference season next year. Day loses the handle of the basketball, and it's picked up by DJ Gay. And the ball goes out of bounds. Exactly 4.5 minutes until halftime. The CIF Southern Section All-Stars 41, the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars 27. Southern Section All-Stars in the blue uniforms trimmed in red with white numerals, and the LA City Section All-Stars in the white uniforms trimmed in red with blue numerals. Austin Day with the basketball. Day decides to let it fly, comes off the rim, rebound by Drew Viney, and there's a whistle and a foul. Drevin Harmon was over there as well. Javon Harmon, 6-foot guard from Pasadena. At the free throw line is Drew Viney, 6'8" forward from Villa Park High School in Orange County. "14 points for Viney. He has 14 of the 42. Quick math tells you he's got 1/3 of the points for the Southern Section All-Stars. Misses the second one. In the front court is Jenkins, the future LMU star out of Westchester. DJ Gay. The shot attempt by Amari Johnson from the corner. And Chase Standback with the putback. And it's 42-29. The shot attempt misses everything. One of those shots that said you couldn't hit the side of a barn. In this case, you couldn't hit the back wall here at North Gymnasium on the campus of El Camino College in Torrance, California. I'm David Smock, hoping that you're enjoying all the action. Chase Standback with 3. It's a 10-point ball game. And here come the LA City section once again. Little alley-oop. Pass intended for Standback, and Standback converts. And now, with 3:25 remaining in the first half, it's an 8-point ball game, 42-34 in favor of the Southern Section All-Stars. A nice drive towards the basket by Derek Strings of Lusinger, the future UC Irvine Anteater, back to a 10-point ball game, 44-34. Just over 3 minutes to go in the first half. Shot attempt by E.J. Singleton misses everything. Here comes the Southern Section the other way. And the pass is picked off by DJ Gay from Long Beach Poly. He'll be going down to San Diego State University to be an Aztec. And as he drives towards the basket, there's a foul that's called. Both teams with 6 team fouls here in the first half. Gay from actually Poly High School in Sylmar, so I want to correct that. We had some incorrect information. He's still going to San Diego State. Gay averaged 29.4 points per game and 4.6 rebounds for the Poly Parrots out of Sunland. And that's in the LA City section, and Long Beach Poly, of course, in the southern section. 44-34, back to a 10-point ball game, 2:40 until the break. Javon Harmon misses. Quick pass to Kenny Miller, and Kenny Miller with the bucket. 44-38. Half a dozen point lead for the southern section. 2:19 until intermission. Fall away shot by Derek Strings for two, and it's 46-38. Chase Stanback, player of the year, has the ball knocked away, stolen by Trevon Harmon of Pasadena. And the layup by Derek Strings of Lusinger. And it's back to a 10-point ball game. 48-38, 150 remaining in the first half. And DJ Gay lets it fly. And it's a 7-point game with the three-pointer, 48-41, 140 to go. This three-point shot attempt at the other end by Derek Strings is good. Derek Strings with 13 points unofficially in the first half for the Southern Section All-Stars. Another three-pointer, and Stanback is there for the putback. 51-43, 8-point lead, minute 20 to go. Woodard had pulled up, and the rebound by DJ Gay. Kenny Miller gets it over in the corner to Myers, and the ball's rebounded by Trevon Harmon. 8-point ball game. Exactly 1 minute left in the first half. And throwing up the basket was Harmon. Omari Johnson trying to go up to stop it. 17 fouls now against the Southern Section All-Stars. Miller past the midcourt line, 50 seconds to go first half. Miller gets the rebound and the putback after the missed shot by DJ Gay, and it's 53-45. Back to an 8-point game. Again, Southern Section All-Stars open up the contest, scoring the first 14 points in the first 5 minutes. Comes Rod Singleton. Singleton over to Gay. Gay. And it's a 5-point game. 20 seconds remaining in the first half. Shot clock's been turned off. Southern Section All-Stars can work for the last shot of the half. Down to 13 seconds. Brandon Richardson from Hawthorne from long distance and gets it. Brandon Richardson for three. And the buzzer sounds. And thanks to Brandon Richardson's tray at halftime, it's the CIF Southern Section All-Stars 56 and the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars 48.
Do you remember where you were when Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. stood here and moved the nation? He shared with us his dream, and together we changed the world. We've carried the hopeless to places of posterity, leveled mountains of inequality, built great monuments of encouragement. In our hearts, we've built monuments of memories to that great man. Help build a national monument to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. Please, call now.
Halftime at North Gymnasium on the campus of El Camino College. The CIF Southern Section All-Stars leading the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars 56-48. I'm David Smock. Take a look at scoring in the first half. Drew Viney leading the Southern Section with 14 points. Derek Strings from Lusinger High School with 13 points. Austin Day had 9 in the first 20-minute half. For the Los Angeles City Section, they're led by LA City Section Player of the Year Chase Stanback, the future UCLA Bruin, with 13 points. DJ Gay had 8 points, and Deshaun Hampton has 7 points. Again, at halftime, it's the Southern Section All-Stars 56, the LA City Section All-Stars 48, and we'll be back with the start of the second half in just a moment. You're watching Collision 9 from El Camino College.
Good evening. Follow me, please.
Imagine what America would be like today if Martin Luther King never had a dream. Help keep the dream alive. To find out more about the Martin Luther King Memorial in Washington, D.C., call or log on now.
Score basket and credit the basket to Austin Day. 10-point basketball game.
Underway with the second half. I'm David Smock, 58-48, hoping that you're enjoying all the action from El Camino College in Torrance, California, the North Gymnasium. Southern section leading by 8 points. Actually up by 10 as they got a basket to start the second half. Oh, a little reverse slam dunk by Chase Stanback, the 6'8" forward from Fairfax High School, headed to UCLA. Back to an 8-point ball game. It was kind of a tale of two periods in the first 20-minute half as the Southern Section All-Stars roared out to an early 14-0 lead in almost the first 5 minutes of the ball game. And then after that, being down by as many as 19 points with 12 minutes to go in the first half, the LA City Section All-Stars tried to whittle that deficit away on the scoreboard point by point, and they got it down to a 56-48 margin at the break. At the free throw line is Austin Day from Woodbridge High School in Irvine. Again, he'll be playing for Coach Mark Few at Gonzaga. Makes it 59-50. As we mentioned during our halftime, and also our pregame, this series is tied at 4-4. So the winner of Collision 9 will take the bragging rights, leading with margin in this series. 3-point shot attempts, an air ball. And it's a whistle and a foul. Again, our officiating crew: Donald Fleming, Greg Bluford, Victor Johnson. At the free throw line, Trey Smith. Smith from Narbonne High School. Smith is 0 for 3 at the charity line. Make that 0 for 4. And ball saved, not back into bounds by Stanback. That was a benefit for the Southern section, but they couldn't capitalize on it. Coming back the other way is Deshaun Hampton. The shot misses by Gant. Brandon Richardson in traffic, hits the bottom of the rim. Day for the follow-up. Second follow-up doesn't go. Now Austin Day picks up his own rebound once again, and he throws it into the hands of Stanback. Says thank you very much. Stanback gives it to Singleton, and E.J. Singleton from Crenshaw High School, the future Utah Ute, scores the basket with 18 minutes to go in the ball game. It's a 7-point lead for the CIF Southern Section All-Stars, 59, the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars, 52. Slam dunk, Chase Stanback. And no kidding, when he has the ball and goes up high, that 6'8" forward, you do want to stand back. 5-point lead for the Southern section. You just get the sense that the LA City section, they're going to catch them at some point here in the second half. Austin Day on fall-away shot. That misses. E.J. Singleton in the front court being guarded by Kenny Miller. Miller, after the ball bounces off a couple of players, takes the ball, says thank you very much. 5'7", one of the shortest players in this game from St. Anthony High School in Long Beach. Sean Hampton from the corner. And the putback after getting the rebound, Darnell Gant, future Washington Husky. And there's a timeout on the floor with 16 minutes, 54 seconds to play. With the score, the CIF Southern Section All-Stars 59, the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars 56. And you're watching Collision 9 from El Camino College. Shane Morgan inbounds the basketball to resume action after the timeout. into Cameron Brown, and Brown gets the basket, 61-56, 16:42 to play. DJ Gay gets it over to Corey Hyde. Now a ball knocked away by Shane Morgan, and it's picked up by Derek Strings of Lusinger. Over to Morgan from Redondo Union High School, then in the corner to Cameron Brown of Mater Dei. Brown's going to go to Oregon. Of course, Brown played for Gary McKnight at Mater Dei. From Bruce Rollison, their well-known football coach there. At the other end, shot attempt by Rod Singleton comes off the rim. Southern section down court. Cameron Brown has the ball kind of knocked away. Loose ball. Who's going to get to it first? Falling on it is Gant. Gets it to Corey Hyde, and Hyde, the 6'5 freshman from View Park, makes it a 3-point game with 15:44 to go. Biggest lead with about 12 minutes remaining in the first half for the Southern Section All-Stars was 19. Now it's down to 3. And a little slam attempt there. Doesn't come out. DJ Gay for 3, gets it. And we have our first tie at 61 all with 15:25 to go. So the Los Angeles City Section All-Stars have erased a 19-point deficit. 14 points given up in almost the first 5 minutes, and we're all even at 61 all. DJ Gay, nice little bounce pass to his teammate Omari Johnson of Dorsey. And for the first time in the ball game, the Los Angeles City Section All-Stars have taken the lead 63-61. A couple of substitutions coming in for the Southern Section All-Stars. At the free throw line will be Omari Johnson. Again, Johnson from Dorsey High School headed to Oregon State up in Corvallis. Gets the free throw, and it's a 3-point lead for the LA City Section All-Stars. Kenny Miller. Turnaround jumper by Hyde. The front court, Quentin Watkins. Now for 3, Derek Strings, knocked away, picked up by Rod Singleton. Singleton down to Johnson. Johnson says, thank you very much, gets the basket. And now it's a 5-point lead for the LA City Section All-Stars with 14:18 to go. 4-3 from long distance, Quentin Watkins, rebounded by Strings. And charging to the basket, Donnell Beverly from Lusinger High School in Lawndale. 6'3 guard, makes it back to a 3-point game. 3-point shot attempt for the LA City section from the far side, no good. Rebounded by Watkins. Gets over to Beverly. Beverly pulls up. That hits the back of the rim. Follow-up putback doesn't go either. Rod Singleton with the basketball. Loses the handle. Picked up by Watkins. He's over in the corner for 3 points. Derek Strings of Lusinger High School in Lawndale, the future UC Irvine anteater, ties up the ball game again at 66 all. Under 13.5 minutes to play in the ball game. Rod Singleton decides to fire from the corner. Johnson gets a hand on it but couldn't save it before it goes out of bounds. 13-13 to play. 66 all between the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars and the CIF Southern Section All-Stars. I'm David Smock, hoping that you're enjoying all the action from North Gymnasium on the campus of El Camino College in Torrance, California. A lot of these players will be playing NCAA basketball, most of them at the Division I level. And of course, they hope that within a year or two they'll be able to leave college and enter the NBA draft and play for pay. Going to the free throw line is Donnell Beverly. On the roster we were given, we were told the University of Connecticut, commonly known as UConn, but some of the other information saw said that he's kind of undecided between UConn, and Arizona State. 69-66, three-point advantage for the Southern Section All-Stars. Deshaun Hampton from Fairfax with the ball, gives it to DJ Gay. Gay out of Sunland Poly. And basket from the corner, Isaiah Jenkins from Westchester, the 6'5" guard, the first Westchester basketball player who signed with Loyola Marymount University in 28 years. So he's going to be continuing to play basketball in Westchester, only this time at the college level in the West Coast Conference as opposed to the LA City section. Tied for the third time in the ball game at 69 all. A nice little shot by Hampton goes in, and it's 71-69 LA City. 12:10 to play. Oh, a nice little spin move by Beverly. Got kind of caught in traffic there, going down to the floor. Was DJ Gay. He's okay. In the second half, 3 team fouls against the CIF Southern Section All-Stars, only 2 against the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Star players. The alley-oop there had to be saved by Stanback. Now Stanback for 3, hits the back of the rim, and the ball goes out of bounds. Smart move by Jesse Woodard from Compton Centennial, the future Colorado State Ram. He just watched that ball go out of bounds, realizing that if he did, the Southern Section All-Stars would have it, and that's indeed the case. Watkins loses the handle, and the LA City All-Stars come back with the DJ Gay. Gets it over the curl. Levon Myers, and Myers for 3, and it's 74-69. LA City now with the 5-point lead. That's their biggest here in the second half after catching the Southern Section All-Stars at 61 all. DJ Gay hit it off to San Diego State now from the corner. Isaiah Jenkins for 3. And now all of a sudden with 11 minutes to play, this is turning into a shootout. 8-point lead now for the LA City Section All-Stars, their biggest lead. And that comes right back, 3 points by Jesse Woodard. Woodard again off to Colorado State. 77-72, the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars leading by 5. The putback doesn't go either. Austin Day with the rebound for the Southern Section. Brandon Richardson. After a dribble, and then a shot by Drew Viney from Villa Park High School going off to Oregon. That's Viney's first basket in the second half after scoring 14 in the first half. Viney has 16 in the game. Austin Day for 3. Rebound by Hampton. Day was trying to knock it away. Gave up on that as Hampton brings it into the front court. Ball knocked away, looked like by Watkins. And now from the corner, DJ Gay. A rebound first by Hampton. And then Chase down back with the bucket. 79-74, LA City over the Southern Section with 9 minutes and 26 seconds to go. Ball out of bounds. Well, we mentioned earlier in the telecast how all the players have to play a minimum number of minutes in each half, and with this type of ball game, you kind of need fresh troops and be able to have those reserves that you can bring in and out. As we have 9 minutes and 23 seconds remaining here in the second half. Again, college rules, 20-minute halves, and both teams into the 70s with the LA City section with their next score, especially if it's a field goal, they'll go over 80. Levon Myers from LA Jordan decides to pull up for 3, nails it. Levon Myers, 6'1.5", guard with 9 minutes to go. It's 82-74. In and out. And here comes the LA City All-Stars once again. Michael Rojas from Los Angeles Poly. Also known as Sunland Poly, the 6'4" forward, headed off to Los Angeles Pierce College, a junior college in the San Fernando Valley. 82-74, 8-point lead, 8.5 minutes to go. The LA City All-Stars, after giving up the first 14 points of the game and trailing by 19 in the first half with 12 minutes to go, has come back and taken an 8-point lead with 8 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the second half. Chase Stanback, well, he was going to inbound the ball. Now Omari Johnson will do the honors for the LA City section. Gets the ball into DJ Gay. Gay being guarded by Kenny Miller as Gay crosses the midcourt stripe into the front court. And Darnell Gant is fouled. In case you're just joining us, the CIF Southern Section All-Stars are in the blue uniforms trimmed in red with white numerals. The CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars are in the white uniforms trimmed in red with blue numerals. At the free throw line, Darnell Gant. Gant out of Crenshaw High School. And traded in the warm climate of Los Angeles for the wet and rainy weather of Seattle at the University of Washington. There's a little bit of a misnomer about all the rain up there. Most of the time you have more clouds than anything. I think it's a little depressing if you're used to sunshine here in Southern California. Exactly 8 minutes to play, 83-74, 9-point lead. That's the biggest of the ball game for the LA City section. Southern section, as we mentioned, with 12:15 to go in the first half, they were up by 19. Ball's inbounded to Gay. Gay gives it over to Singleton, E.J. Singleton. And Johnson was trying to attempt the putback. The reason we make the distinction is Rod Singleton from Fairfax and E.J. Singleton from Crenshaw. Rod will go to Cal State Northridge, while E.J. will go to Utah. At the free throw line, Omari Johnson. Mentioned Johnson will go to Oregon State. Kind of like the same thing for Gant going to Washington, Oregon State, and Corvallis. Again, the misnomer about all the rain, but you do see a lot of clouds up there. Beautiful part of the country, though. Okay. Commonly known as the Great Pacific Northwest. 7:45 remaining, 85-74. It's 11-point margin. Cameron Brown, though, at 85-76. 7:35 remaining. Pass into Trey Smith. Bounce pass intended for Darnell Grant. And Gant gets the shot, but the rebound is taken by Drew Viney for the Southern Section All-Stars. Cameron Brown. Battle for the basketball. Who has it? Finally picked up by E.J. Singleton. Gets it over to Omari Johnson. Johnson's shot is in and out. Battle for the rebound underneath Gant. Gant is blocked as he goes up for it. Under 7 minutes to play as the ball is inbounded to DJ Gay of the LA City Section All-Stars. Being guarded by Brandon Richardson. 20 seconds on the shot clock, plenty of time. Gant in traffic, couldn't handle it. Day, the outlet pass to Cameron Brown. As far as the team fouls are concerned in the second half, the CIF Southern Section All-Stars with 5, the CIF Los Angeles City Section with 2. 35-second shot clock. 30 seconds for the ladies, 35 for the men. Nice drive along the baseline of the basket by DJ Gay from Sunland Poly. The future San Diego State Aztec makes it 87-76, back to an 11-point lead. Matches the highest here in the second half for the LA City section. Austin Day misses everything. Day, the 6'10 forward from Woodbridge High School in Irvine, who will play at Gonzaga University next season. Gay into the front court. Gant off balance, rebounded by Quentin Watkins from Compton Dominguez, the future Illinois player. Air ball on the shot by Donnell Beverly Jr. 87-76 LA City section, 5:45 to go in the game. And after the CIF Southern Section All-Stars scored the first 14 points and led by 19 at 25-6 with 12:15 to play in the first half, I think most people would have bet dollars to donuts that the CIF Southern Section was going to win this game, the tiebreaker, the 4-4 in the series here in Collision 9. Drew Viney with the bucket, 87-76 with 5:20 to go. But the LA City Section All-Stars doing a great job, whittled away that deficit down to 8 points at 56-48 at the intermission, and then caught the Southern Section All-Stars at 61 all with 15:25 to play. And except for being tied at 66 and 69, it's been pretty much all LA City section after that, as we're under 5 minutes to play in the game. Donnell Beverly Jr. from Lusinger High School in Lawndale from the free throw line. And the ball is rebounded by Darnell Gant. Rod Singleton loses the handle on the basketball while he was being guarded by Quentin Watkins. First time we've seen Watkins, the 6'4 guard, as you mentioned, from Dominguez High School in Compton. Actually very impressed by his play. I'm sure the coaches at Illinois will be very happy to have him on campus. Ball inbounded by Rod Singleton as it goes into Jashawn Hampton. Hampton for three, misses, hits the front of the rim actually. Wasn't quite an air ball as the rebound goes to Wiley. Down court, Woodard gets over in the corner to Quentin Watkins from long range, and Watkins scores. 5 points for Watkins, and it's 89-81. LA City with an 8-point lead and 4:12 to go. Gant, ball over instead to Jenkins, and Jenkins was going to try to drive along the baseline. Again, Isaiah Jenkins, 6'5 guard from Westchester High School. He's going to stay in Westchester, playing at Loyola Marymount. Again, the story on that, in case you're just joining us, he is the first Westchester player to go to LMU in 28 years. Amazing. And of course, the coaching staff at LMU, their goal and their hope is actually to attract more local athletes to their basketball program there at Loyola Marymount. Of course, Gersten Pavilion, good place to play, 4,100 seats. At the free throw right now is Chase Stanback. Of course, he's going to play his basketball over at Poly Pavilion in Westwood, coming out of Fairfax High School, the state Division I champions. Stanback, the fourth future Bruin to play in a Collision game. Collision 6, 7, 8, and now tonight in Collision 9. There's a timeout on the floor, 3 minutes, 57 seconds to go in the ball game. With the score of the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars 91 and the CIF Southern Section All-Stars 81. Here we go, last 4 minutes of the ball game. If the Southern Section All-Stars want to win, they need to start putting some points on the board and play some defense against the LA City section, as the CIF Los Angeles City section has a 10-point lead. Well, that's part of it, as Austin Day makes it an 8-point ball game. 91-83 with 3:39 to play. And now another long shot, this one by Chase Stanback, and Stanback nails it. at least 22 for Standback. And Deshaun Hampton with the assist by Rod Singleton. It's 96-83, 13-point lead. That's the biggest of the ball game here in the second half for the LA City Section All-Stars. So just when it seemed like the Southern Section All-Stars were going to make a move on the scoreboard, LA City Section comes back and not only scores, but they increase the lead. With 3:13 to play, it's 96-83 LA. And the shot by Austin Day in and out. Because Day should feel pretty comfortable wearing this blue uniform trimmed in red with the white numerals for the CIF Southern Section, since the colors for Gonzaga University are also red, white, and blue. At the free throw line, Donnell Beverly Jr. from Lusinger High School in Lawndale. Again, the question is, will he be a University of Connecticut Husky or an Arizona State Sun Devil? So it's 96-86, 3:07 to play. And it's a 10-point lead for the LA City All-Stars. Deshaun Hampton being guarded by Jesse Woodard. Oh, nice little spin move on Woodard, and the layup by Deshaun Hampton, the 6-foot guard from Fairfax. A dozen-point lead for the CIF LA City Section All-Stars. 3-point shot attempt is no good, but the rebound attempted by Beverly, but that's blocked. Now into Day. He lets it into Drew Viney. And after everything is all done and said, LA City Section comes up with the basketball, but then Isaiah Jenkins couldn't hold on to the handle and goes out of bounds. 2 minutes, 28 seconds to play. The LA City Section All-Stars 98, the Southern Section All-Stars 86. And a bit of a mountain, a tall mountain for the CIF Southern Section All-Stars get back into this contest, trailing by 12 with less than 2.5 minutes to go in the game. So looks like the LA City Section may very well come back and win this ball game after being down by 19, as Day gets another three-pointer to make it a 9-point contest. A couple more of those and we might have a brand new ball game before this one is over. Isaiah Jenkins feeds it off in the corner to Levon Myers. His shot's no good, rebounded by Standback. And now the rebound underneath by Hampton. Gets it back out to Standback, and Standback lets it fly. Johnson's there for the putback, but it comes off the rim and is rebounded instead by Drew Viney for the Southern Section All-Stars. Day's three-point attempt's no good, but for the putback, Derek Strings of Lusinger High School, the 6'1 guard from Lawndale, future UC Irvine Anteater, makes it 98-91. It's a 7-point game, under a minute and a half to go in the contest. Austin Day brings the ball up court, gives it to Derek Strings. Strings falls down to see it as it lets it fly. Rebounded by Mari Johnson for the LA City Section All-Stars. 98-91, 1:13 to go. And Standback with the bucket. 100 on the board for the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars. 26 points for the future UCLA Bruin. Chase Standback, the CIF Los Angeles City Section Player of the Year, and now you know why. He has had a marvelous All-Star game here in Collision 9. Loose ball picked up by Cameron Brown. Tries to feed it into Drew Viney. And Viney is going to go to the free throw line as he's fouled in the act of shooting. 16 fouls now in the second half against the Southern Section All-Stars, to 5 against the LA City Section All-Stars, and the rebound, or the free throw attempt by Viney, comes off the rim. Nice feed into Darnell Gant. 102-93, and that's pretty much the exclamation point in this contest. 9-point lead with 33 seconds to play. Oh, nice little alley-oop move by Cameron Brown from Mater Dei High School in Santa Ana, the 6'2 guard headed to the University of Oregon. 13 seconds remaining. The LA City Section All-Stars leading 102-95. Obviously, defense was not at a premium tonight in this contest, but certainly a lot of offense. And going to the free throw line will be DJ Gay from Poly High School in Sunland. Again, he'll be playing for Steve Fisher at San Diego State University. It's at 103-95 with 12 seconds remaining in the contest. $104.95. So a great win for the LA City section, and they will take the bragging rights, lead the series 5-4 as the clock stops with 2 seconds remaining. Two seconds to go. Timeout on the floor in the second half with the score. The CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars 104 and the CIF Southern Section All-Stars 95.
When your child gets sick with the usual illnesses an unusual number of times, it could be an immune deficiency called PI. Get the warning signs.
2 seconds left in the game. 104-95 in favor of the LA City Section All-Stars. It's just a matter of inbounding the basketball, and the LA City section will be allowed to kind of brag about how they lead this series 5-4 until collision 10. And then I'm going to inbound the basketball as the buzzer sounds and collision 9 is over. Final score, the CIF Los Angeles City Section All-Stars 104 and the CIF Southern Section All-Stars 95.
Can you pass the salt, Dad?
Salt is to pepper as gregarious is to...
Oh, no, not more SAT questions.
In ancient Rome, salt was a form of currency. True or false?
False?
True.
Son, can you locate sodium?
Or chloride?
There are tons of ways to help with your kids' learning. Find the really good ones on connectforkids.org.
You have 3.5 grams of salt and a 5-gram slug. What's the rate of shrivel?
Welcome to the Collision 9 postgame show. We're joined by Chase Downback, the MVP from Fairfax High School, headed to UCLA, and Harvey Katani, the winning coach for the LA City Section All-Stars, also from Fairfax High School. And Chase, first of all, a wonderful way to wrap up your high school career. You get the MVP, you score 26 points, 13 in each half. Talk a little bit about the game. You guys gave up the first 14 points, down by 19, and still came back to catch them in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, in the first half, we played kind of nervous. I don't know why. It's an all-star game. Everybody pulled it together in the end.
Of course, you kind of won everything this year, the CIF State Championship, the Southern Section Championship, now the MVP in Collision 9. You're going to a UCLA program, it's been to the Final Four the last 2 years. How does that feel?
It feels great. I mean, I've had we have a great year this year. It's one of the best experiences I've ever experienced, and I'm going to miss it a lot.
And now you're off to Westwood.
Yeah, it should be fun.
Congratulations, great job tonight.
Thanks.
And Chase Downback, we're joined now by Harvey Katani. And Harvey, first of all, you're one of the most famous coaches in basketball, certainly at the high school level here in Southern California. You also were the coach for the state championship at D1 at Arco Arena in Sacramento. Talk a little bit about this game. You guys were trailing, gave up the first 14 points of the game in the first 5 minutes, trailing by 19 points with about 12 minutes to go. What did you tell the guys?
Well, in this kind of scenario, you know, a lot of guys are going to come down and fire it up, and sometimes those kinds of shots will drop or they won't drop, and they didn't drop for these guys early, but they stuck together and they kept working it and grinding it out and narrowed the gap, and you know, with some good teamwork, they were able to pull it out.
Of course, what does it mean for the LA City Section All-Stars now to take the lead in the series 5-4?
Well, we're with the city, and so we're proud of that, and we've always had that city pride, and so I think the collision games have rekindled the CIF Southern Section against the city, and I think it's great for the city basketball.
So a little bit of bragging rights here for the next year.
Oh, for sure.
Want to thank Harvey Catani and Chase Downback for joining us on the post-game show. I'm David Smock back at North Gymnasium on the campus of El Camino College in Torrance, California, where tonight the LA City Section All-Stars, after trailing by 19 points, came back in the second half to win 104-95 as the LA City Section All-Stars now take the lead in the overall series here in Collision 9, 5-4. Now for our entire broadcast crew, David Smock saying so long. Again, the final score 104-95. Good night from Torrance, California.